Good day, everyone. Welcome to our lesson on gamified learning, one of the most energetic and exciting teaching strategies in the LET series, and one that many students and teachers absolutely love. Now, before we begin, let me ask you something. Have you ever lost track of time while playing a mobile game? Have you ever felt that rush of excitement when you reached a new level, earned a badge, or beat your own score? That feeling, that engagement, that motivation, that just one more try energy is exactly what gamified learning tries to bring into the classroom. Gamified learning is the final strategy in our series, and it is also one of the most practically useful for everyday classroom teaching. In this lesson, we will cover what gamified learning is, the game elements used in classrooms, key features, a classroom example, benefits, teaching implications, and the LET exam keywords. Let's play. Let's learn. Let's begin with the definition, and with an important clarification. Gamified learning does not mean let students play video games in class. That is a common misconception. Gamified learning means taking the elements that make games motivating and addictive, and applying those elements to educational activities. Think about why games are so engaging. They give you immediate feedback. You know right away if you got it right. They reward effort. Every correct answer earns points. They show progress. You can see yourself leveling up. They create friendly competition. You want to beat your own score or your classmates. They make you want to try again, even when you fail. Now imagine if learning felt like that. Imagine if a grammar review session felt like a quiz competition. Imagine if memorizing vocabulary felt like collecting badges. Imagine if solving maths problems felt like completing a mission. That is what gamified learning does. 3 important clarifications. First, gamification uses game elements, not games themselves. The element, points, badges, challenges, is what creates the motivation. You don't need a computer or an app to gamify a lesson. Second, the goal is learning, not just fun. The game elements serve the learning objective. If the game doesn't reinforce the learning, it's just entertainment. Third, repetition becomes enjoyable. One of the most valuable uses of gamification is for drill practice. Things like vocabulary revision, maths facts, historical dates, content that benefits from repeated practice. Games make that repetition feel exciting rather than tedious. Now let's look at the 4 most common game elements used in gamified learning. Element 1, points. This is the most fundamental game element. Students earn points for correct answers, for effort, for participation, or for teamwork. Points create immediate feedback. You answered correctly, you earn 100 points. That immediate reward is motivating because students can see the direct result of their effort in real time. Points also create a visible measure of progress. Element 2, levels. Levels create a sense of progression and achievement. Students move from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 as they demonstrate mastery. This keeps advanced students challenged. They always have a higher level to aim for, and it gives struggling students a visible ladder. They can see where they are and where they are going, rather than feeling stuck. Element 3, challenges. Challenges transform ordinary tasks into missions. A vocabulary quiz becomes a word battle. A maths drill becomes a speed challenge. A comprehension activity becomes an escape room. The content is the same, but the framing makes it feel like an adventure. Timed challenges add urgency. Team challenges build cooperation. Individual challenges build personal achievement. Element 4, rewards. Rewards in gamified learning can be digital, badges, certificates, virtual trophies, or simply social recognition, public praise, a leaderboard position, or a star on the class chart. Rewards reinforce desired behavior. They tell students, your effort is seen and valued. They motivate students to keep going. Let tip, know all 4 elements. A question might describe one of these elements and ask which type of gamification it represents. Let's look at the 3 key features of gamified learning. Feature 1. Friendly competition. Competition in the classroom can be a double-edged sword. Done badly, it humiliates weaker students and creates anxiety. Done well, it energizes the class. The key word is friendly. In gamified learning, the competition is positive. It is about beating your own previous score, or cheering for your team, or trying harder than last time. It is not about exposing who is worst. Good gamified learning celebrates effort and progress, not just performance. Feature 2. Flexible format. This is one of the most practical things about gamified learning. It doesn't require expensive technology or fancy equipment. Yes, tools like Kahoot, Quizzes, Blookit, and Gimkit make gamification easy and digital. But you can also gamify your classroom with just a whiteboard and some colored markers. A simple team point system, a class leaderboard on the board, or a quiz bowl format. All of these are gamification. The format is flexible because the principle is simple. Add game elements to learning. Feature 3. Motivation and participation. This is the heart of gamified learning. The primary goal is engagement. Many students who are disengaged in traditional lessons come alive in gamified ones. The student who rarely raises their hand might be the most enthusiastic Kahoot player. Gamified learning reaches students who are not naturally engaged by conventional teaching, and that makes it an inclusivity tool as well as an engagement tool. Remember, gamified learning uses competition, flexibility, and fun to drive motivation and participation. Let me walk you through a classic gamified learning example that many teachers in the Philippines already use. The teacher wants to review an entire unit, perhaps on teaching strategies, or Philippine history, or science concepts, before an exam. Instead of doing a traditional oral review or worksheet, she opens Kahoot. Phase 1. Setup. The teacher has already prepared a Kahoot quiz with 30 review questions. Students join the game using a code on their phones, tablets, or by viewing the classroom screen. Everyone has a nickname, which immediately creates a buzz of excitement in the room. Phase 2. Play. The first question appears on screen with 4 answer options. Students have 20 seconds to answer. The faster you answer correctly, the more points you earn. Students are suddenly focused, really focused, because the timer is ticking and their score depends on it. Phase 3. Compete. After each question, the live leaderboard appears. Students see their ranking. Some groan, some cheer. Everyone wants to do better on the next question. The friendly competition drives engagement. The student who is usually quiet is now shouting, "Yes," when they get one right. Phase 4. Reinforce. After each question, the correct answer is shown with a brief explanation. Students see immediately what was right and what was wrong. This immediate feedback reinforces the correct concept. And because the emotional experience of the game is attached to it, students remember it better. Notice the game elements at work: points, leaderboard, time challenge, and immediate feedback. And the learning was real. They revised all the key concepts without it feeling like a chore. Let's now look at the benefits and what gamified learning means for classroom practice. Benefit 1. Increases motivation. Motivation is one of the biggest challenges in teaching. Some students are internally motivated. They love learning for its own sake. But many students need external motivation, especially for content that feels dry or repetitive. Game elements provide that external motivation in a positive, energizing way. Points, levels, and rewards give students reasons to try harder and stay engaged. Benefit 2. Active participation. In a traditional lesson, many students can sit passively. They are physically present but mentally somewhere else. Gamified learning makes passive participation almost impossible. When a timer is counting down and your score depends on your answer, you are forced to engage. The game format requires active involvement from everyone. Benefit 3. Reinforces learning. This is perhaps the most academically important benefit. Gamification excels at practice activities. content that requires repeated exposure, vocabulary, formulas, key concepts, dates, is ideal for gamified review. The game provides multiple exposures to the same content in a way that doesn't feel like repetition, and the immediate feedback after each question reinforces correct understanding and corrects errors on the spot. For teaching implications, the most important caution is use games to reinforce learning, not replace it. A Kahoot quiz should come after teaching, not instead of it, and always ensure that the competition is friendly. Leaderboards can embarrass students who struggle, so be mindful of how you use public rankings. The goal is to lift everyone's engagement, not to rank students publicly in a way that feels humiliating. Let's now prepare for the LET exam on gamified learning. Keyword 1. Use of game elements in instruction. The defining characteristic of gamified learning is the application of game elements to educational activities. If a LET question describes a teacher using points, badges, leaderboards, or challenges in a lesson, that is gamified learning. Remember, it is the elements, not the game itself, that defines it. Keyword 2. Motivation, participation, and engagement. If a LET question asks, which strategy is best for increasing student motivation and participation? Think gamified learning. Its primary purpose is engagement. It doesn't primarily aim to build deep conceptual understanding or collaborative skills. It primarily aims to make students want to participate. Keyword 3. Points, rewards, challenges, and levels. These are the 4 core game elements. Know them. LET question might describe one of them and ask what type of gamification element is being used, or it might describe a lesson and ask which game element would best increase motivation here. Keyword 4. Friendly competition and immediate feedback. Both are hallmarks of gamified learning. The competition must be friendly, not stressful or humiliating, and the feedback must be immediate. You find out right away if you were correct. These 2 features are often tested. Keyword 5. Reinforcing learning, not replacing it. This is a very important nuance that often appears in LET questions. Gamified learning is a supplement. It reinforces concepts that have already been taught. It is not a substitute for direct instruction. If a question asks, when is gamified learning most appropriate? The answer is for review, practice, and reinforcement activities. Key distinction: gamified learning does not equal playing games. It is using game elements to enhance learning. And that is our key takeaway. Gamified learning makes education more engaging by using game elements to motivate students, encourage participation, and reinforce learning in a playful but purposeful way. Think about those 3 pillars: engage, motivate, reinforce. That is what gamified learning does. Now, as we close this entire 10 presentation series on teaching strategies, I want to say something to you. You have studied 10 teaching strategies. You know what cooperative learning, direct instruction, experiential learning, inquiry-based learning, differentiated instruction, project-based learning, blended learning, reflective teaching, and gamified learning occur and how to identify each one in a LET exam scenario. You know the keywords, the key features, the teacher roles, and the classroom examples. You are ready for your LET exam. When you see any teaching strategy question, ask yourself, what is the teacher doing? What are the students doing? What is the learning goal? What tools or activities are described? That 4-question framework will help you identify the correct strategy every single time. You have worked incredibly hard throughout this series. The LET is within your reach. Believe in yourself because you have prepared well. Maraming salamat. Padayon, you've got this. Graduation cap.